We're good.
I call this meeting to order. Confirmation of the agenda that the Committee of Adjustment hereby accepts the agenda for the June 7th public hearing as presented. Do I have a mover? I have Kevin Faulkner moving. I have Anita Van Heater seconding. I'll hand it over to you, Carson.
Thank you, Your Worship. So committee member Sipe,
Yes.
committee member Falconer,
Yes.
committee member Heffer,
Yes.
committee member Van Hitterson,
Yes.
committee member Palmer,
Yes.
committee member McBurney,
Yes.
and Chair Bailey.
Yes.
So that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Declaration of pecuniary interest. I am not seeing any. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby adopts the minutes from the Committee of Adjustment hearing held May 3rd, 2021 as presented. Do I have a mover? I have Paul Heffer moving. Do I have a seconder? I have Kevin Faulkner seconding. Carson, I'll hand it over to you again.
Thank you, Your Worship. So committee member Falconer,
Yes.
committee member Heffer,
Yes.
committee member Van Hitterson,
Yes.
committee member Palmer,
Yes.
committee member McBurney,
Yes.
committee member Sipe,
Yes.
and Chair Bailey.
Yes.
So that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Statement of precedent that any decision reached by this committee cannot be used to set a precedent. Scheduled applications, file number MV04-2021, location lot 14, registered plan 22 M13, 648 Gloria Street, Blythe, Township of North Huron. Applicant owner Gary Rutledge, Rutting Holdings Limited. 6.1.1 is a presentation from the Huron County Planner. Monica, whenever you're ready.
Thank you very much, Reed Bailey. Good evening, Council. This is an application for minor variance. The application number is MV04 for 2021. The property owner is Rutling Holdings Limited. The applicant is Gary Rutledge. The location of the property is Lot 14, Registered Plan 22 M13, or 648 Gloria Street in Blythe. The property is zoned residential, low density, and designated residential in the Township of North Huron official plan. The application is for a reduced exterior side yard. The property sits adjacent to North Street, and the request is to reduce the exterior side yard setback from 6 meters to 3.5 meters. This is what the property looked like in 2015 before the area was developed. This is what the property looks like now. You can see that the subject lot sits at a corner, but that North Street does not go all the way through. So it ends where you can see this barrier here. It ends at a dead end adjacent to this property. The setback has been reviewed by township staff and agencies, and there are no comments in objection to the proposed severance. In reviewing the application for minor variance, there are 4 tests that need to be considered. Does it meet the intent of the North Huron official plan? Does it meet the intent of the township zoning bylaw? Is it desirable for the appropriate development of the lands in question? And is it minor in nature? In considering the 4 tests, the planning department believes that it does meet the 4 tests of the Planning Act, and therefore this application is recommended for approval with the recommended conditions. And those would be my comments for now, but I'm available if there are any questions.
Thank you, Monica. 6.1.2 opportunity or comments on application by applicant or agent. Is Gary there, an agent? Not hearing any. 6.1.3 is opportunity to comment by others in the attendance. And again, I'm not hearing anything. 6.1.4, opportunity for questions, comments by committee of adjustment members. Is there any comments from the members? And again, I can't see everyone, so just speak up. Go ahead, Chris. Mr. Palmer.
Yeah, Rafe. Thank you, Rafe. It says side yard. Now, is that, Monica, is that both sides they're requesting or just from one side? How is that to be read?
Through the Reeve. This is an application for a reduction in the exterior side yard setback. Exterior side yard means the side adjacent to a road. So the side adjacent to North Street is being asked to be reduced, not the interior side yard setback.
All right, thanks.
Thank you very kindly. Go ahead, Mr. Faulkner.
Thank you. Through your Reeve to Monica. Being on a corner and up street, possibly someday going through, this setback isn't going to change anything if there's sidewalks put in. Will that cause any trouble in the future if something changes up there? You know, when they put the road through, or if they put any sidewalks or anything. Just with that being narrowed there, I see they've got the headstone for the name of the subdivision there. I just was curious if there was any cushion there that the municipality would have for that, you know, or we're putting a stop sign or something, you know, just as long as it didn't make any difference to those aspects.
So the new building will be set back 3.5 meters from the municipal road allowance. So things like stop signs, sidewalks, those would all be built within the municipal road allowance. So the consideration was given of whether 3.5 meters was sufficient for a buffer between the public area and the private area, and there were no concerns raised by staff.
Thank you, Monica. Any other questions? Not seeing any. We will move along. 6.1.5, summary comments and recommendations of the Huron County Planning and Development Department. Monica, again, please.
So it's the recommendation of the Huron County Planning and Development Department that this application for minor variance be approved with the recommended condition.
Thank you very much. Number 7, decision of the Committee of Adjustment and effects of comments received by the committee's decision. That the Committee of the Adjustment hereby approves the minor variance application MV04-2021 as it applies to Lot 14, Registered Plan 22M13, known as 648 Gloria Street, Blythe, Township of North Huron. Applicant owner Gary Rutling Holding Limited, with the conditions set out in the report presented by Monica Bolton Walker, planner at the June 7th, 2021 Committee of Adjustment hearings. Do I have a mover? I have I have Rick McBurney moving. I have Chris Palmer seconding. And again, I hand it over to you, Carson.
Thank you, Your Worship. So Committee Member Heffer. Committee Member Heffer, you're muted there. Committee Member Van Hitterson.
Yes.
Committee Member Palmer.
Yes.
Committee Member McBurney.
Yes.
Committee Member Sight.
Yes.
Committee Member Falconer.
Yes.
And Chair Bailey.
Yes.
So that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you kindly. And the second motion, that the minor variance application MV04-2021 recommendations from the chart. Monica, if you could help us with that.
Certainly. So I believe you can see on your screen the chart of agency, the effective agency and public comment. No comments were received on this application from members of the public, so there was no effect on the decision. And No agency comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision.
Thank you very kindly. Do I have a mover? I have Deputy Reeve Sipe moving. I have Councillor Paul Heffer seconding. Carson.
Thank you, Your Worship. So Committee Member Van Hitterson,
Yes.
Committee Member Palmer,
Yes.
Committee Member McBurney,
Yes.
Committee Member Sipe,
Yes.
Committee Member Falconer,
Yes.
Committee Member Heffer,
Yes.
and Chair Bailey.
Yes.
So that motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Reminder of the appeal period, minor variance procedure following public meeting. The Secretary Treasurer sends within 10 days a certified copy of the decision indicating the last day of appeal to the Local Planning Appeal Tribunal, LPAT. 2, the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, if requested. Each person who appeared in person or by counsel consultant at the hearing and who filed with the Secretary Treasurer a written request of notice of decision. If no appeal lodged after the 20-day objective period has expired and no appeal has been lodged, the decision of the Committee of Adjustment is final and binding. The Secretary Treasurer shall notify the applicant. If a notice of appeal is lodged within 20 days of the Committee of Adjustment making a decision, an appeal is lodged with the Secretary Treasurer outlining the reasons for such an appeal, and said appeal is accompanied by the required fee of $400. The Committee of Adjustment no longer retains jurisdiction over the application. If a proper appeal is lodged, the Secretary Treasurer is required to provide proper notice to the local appeal tribunal board. Okay. Adjournment. That there be no further business before the Committee of Adjustment, the public hearing is now hereby adjourned at 5:42. Do I have a mover? I have Deputy Reeve Sipe moving. I have Councillor Faulkner seconding. Carson.
Thank you, Your Worship. So Committee Member Palmer,
Yes.
Committee Member McBurney,
Yes.
Committee Member Sipe,
Yes.
Committee Member Falconer,
Yes.
Committee Member Heffer,
Yes.
Committee Member Van Hitterson,
Yes.
and Chair Bailey.
Yes.
That motion carries 7-0.
Okay, we will adjourn and we will click over to the next meeting at 6 o'clock in about 15 minutes. Thank you.